This is Mike Keneally. You're watching loudguitars.com.
Good morning. This is Pamela with loudguitars.com, and I'm thrilled to be here at the Dean Markley booth with Mike Keneally. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. Thank you very much.
Good. Me too.
You have quite a very diverse musical career, from playing with orchestras, playing with the Zappas, playing with Mr. Satriani, and I find that it's almost unfair that one person has so much talent.
Oh, well, I can't look at it that way, you know, because I'm always just like excited about what the next musical experience is going to be, and I always feel like I'm, you know, just trying to beef up my skills to meet whatever the next challenge is, you know. So it's I appreciate that. Thank you. But for me, I always just see how much farther I have to go that way. But thanks.
Well, I also read your autobiography on Keneally.com, which is a great read, and you can also write. It's like there is no limit.
I appreciate it.
In the autobiography, you mentioned that you were addicted to making records.
It's true. I still have a real love for the long form album, and even with all very smart people in the industry saying that the album is dying and stuff, I just can't let it go. I like a listening experience that starts at one place, takes you on a journey to the end point, and you sit there, and even if there's only a few thousand people left in the world who experience albums that way, they need servicing too, you know, and that's still the way I love to experience an album from start to finish. So I just keep making them because I can't stop. Every time I finish a record, I'm already full of ideas for the next one. So I just keep going.
Well, we're all grateful for that. What are you working on right now, Mike?
Right now I'm working on an album called Scambot 2, which is the second in a trilogy. First album, Scambot 1, came out in 2009. And it's about this little guy who's his mind is being controlled by this rich jam corporate magnate guy. He makes jam for a living, and he's just wildly successful from all the jam that he's sold, and he has learned how to modify people's behavior by virtue of all these really sort of elaborate steampunk-looking switches and knobs that he has in his office. That's like the basic story of Scambot, but it's musically it's sort of a gathering place for whatever I feel like doing. So the style of the thing is kind of all over the place. But right now I've been working with some tracks that I recorded with Chris Myers, who's the drummer from Humphreys McGee. Brilliant drummer, genius drummer, and it feels very different from any recordings I've done in the past, so I'm having a lot of fun just doing some overdubs and mixing and edits on these recordings. It's about 40 minutes worth of stuff that I've been focused on for the last week or so. And there's going to be more Satriani touring later this year, and more touring with my own band. So I'm, as always, I have about 3 or 4 different things just kind of bubbling.
And I see that a lot of the players that you play with once want to play with you again in other projects. Like I see Brian Beller, Marco Miniman. And so I see that there is some sort of like a consistency, which is lovely. That must pull out some different ideas for you to be playing with these different players too.
Yeah, these guys just follow me everywhere, you know. It's a good feeling. It's fun for me to play with somebody like Brian Beller, who has been the bass player for my band since for like 20 years now, a long time. We played together with Dweezil Zappa in the early 90s, and he's followed me through a bunch of bands, a bunch of albums. And then when I started playing with Death Clock a few years ago, and Brendan Small, who's the mastermind behind Death Clock, asked me if he thought Brian would mind if he asked him to join as well, and definitely not, because Brian is a total metalhead. And then I've been playing with Joe Satriani for a few years, and it was great. We had a band that was fantastic, and then Joe just got the urge to change things up. We recorded an album with Vinnie Colaiuta and Chris Chaney, so that was a big change. And then he said, well, who do you recommend for bass and drums? And Brian Beller and Marco Miniman are like the two best guys I know. So I didn't know whether they were going to have time or availability to do the Satriani thing, but they were like, yeah, we would love to do it. So playing with these guys who's playing I know so well in a new context, the Satriani context, is really fun because I'm familiar with them, but it feels new. And then it's very new for Joe, and Joe is loving the change. So I'm grateful, since it was my recommendation. It could have that it didn't all fall to pieces, but I knew with those guys it wouldn't. So we're having a great time in the Satriani band.
Well, I thank you so much. I'm sorry we've got to wrap up, but I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. Can't wait to watch you live again. Cool. Enjoy your day.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. This is Pamela at Dean Markley, signing in.